Hey guys, what's going on? Darren here, and welcome back to the F1 22 My Team Career Mode. And this time, we are at Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgian Grand Prix. If you haven't checked out the last video at Budapest, go back, go check it out. It was a really good race, and it's one that I highly recommend you check out. Today though, we've had the mid-season break, and now we're back for the Belgian Grand Prix. We're now in the second half of the season, and we're going to get straight into qualifying. Glad that the lads left my car as dirty as possible there in the pit stops. Anyway, here we are now to qualifying at Spa-Francorchamps, and you see just going through the La Source hairpin there. You can see we're currently about a tenth of a second up. This is my second lap in qualifying. The first lap was good enough for last place, so yep, second lap should hopefully improve as we go up Eau Rouge and Radion, and now down the Kemmel straight, and it's a very long straight here at Spa-Francorchamps. And yeah, so this is the second lap, like I said, in qualifying. It was a bit of a difficult lap for me, I've got to be honest. I was a little bit disappointed with my performance around Spa. You can see now going into the right-hander. What's this corner called again? This is Brussels, I believe. Not entirely sure. This is a corner with no name, also known as Liège. So it does actually have a name, but for some reason we call it the corner with no name. Into Pouon, this left-hander absolutely fast as you like, and then the Blanchimont section we're just skipping to going past now into the old bus stop chicane at the end of qualifying, and at the end of Q1 we are 0.8 of a second up, and is that going to be enough for Q2?
Welcome along then to the Belgian Grand Prix, the race that gave us the maiden victory for the Jordan team back in 1998. And in the same team, the phenomenal debut of a young Michael Schumacher. There's always something special just around one of the many corners of this fan favourite circuit. So here we are once again, ready to go racing through the Ardennes forest. 4.35 miles of long straights, fast corners and massive elevation changes. It makes this not only one of the most exciting circuits on the calendar, but one that makes for some consistently high quality racing as well. Simply put it, there's no place quite like it. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Hamilton, George Russell and Bottas. Magnussen, Norris, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Fernando Alonso and Carlos Sainz, they've taken a grid penalty. Gasly, Verstappen, Sebastian Vettel and Joe, Albon, Ocon, Théo Pourchaire and Bennett. Stroll, Mick Schumacher, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Latifi and Yuki Tsunoda. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race.
There are so many drivers with grid penalties. That is ridiculous. I did not expect so many people to have grid penalties. But we're going to go straight now to lights out. And away we go. We're going to go straight to the start of the race. No messing around. And you can see here we get a good start. And we're going to go down the inside into La Source. Can we get Max Verstappen there? That's going to put us up to P11. Théo Pourchaire and myself collide. I think Théo Pourchaire's broken his front wing. Yes, he has. That's a bit of a shame. My teammate's lost his front wing. As we go now into Eau Rouge, Alex Albon around the outside. What a move there by Alex Albon to take the position there. That's him up to P15. We're down to P16, but we have still gained off the line. I believe we qualified in P18 after penalties. So P16 is where we started, so we have gained a couple of places. Théo Pourchaire, he was doing so well, but into turn one, we did have a slight collision, and he has lost his front wing. And there's a car off there, and that's Lando Norris in the McLaren. Norris, he went off into the gravel trap. Just saw it ever so briefly there at the exit of the chicane, and yeah, Lando Norris now at the back of the field as we go past Théo Pourchaire, and that is us up now to P14. And Pourchaire's going to do a very nice job, I think, of holding up the field As we go to lap number 4 now, you see Porsche, he had to come into the pits. And now, we've got the DRS and the slipstream on Alex Albon. Down the inside, past Alex Albon we go. And that is us up to P13. So, yep, we're making nice progress here at Spa so far. Helped, of course, by Lando Norris also going off here at the exit of the chicane. And we go to lap 4 and just listen in. So we got an engine issue. He's just said we have got an engine issue. The question is it bad enough for us to retire from the Grand Prix? Or are we going to be able to survive and carry on? Let's see what he's going to say.
Okay, it's not good news, I'm afraid. Seems like an engine issue.
Oh no. Oh no, it's an engine issue, according to Mark. So, yeah, it's one of those painful engine issues. And it's one of those glitches. It is the glitched engine issue that I am suffering from right now. The one where you don't really lose that much power, but for some reason, even though you've got an engine issue, you end up with a ton of understeer. Somehow the engine issue gives you understeer. And we actually collide there with... we collide with Esteban Ocon as well. But yeah, we had that engine issue where it gives you understeer. As you go to the replay, and that's Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll has just smashed into the wall. We hit the back of Esteban Ocon. We've got front wing damage, but we come into the pits and they don't change our front wing. Why? We've got clear front wing damage and they didn't change our front wing. So I thought, you know what, we're going to do a flashback and we're going to see, are they going to change our front wing this time? So we go into the pits again and no, they're not changing our front wing. So we've got a broken front wing issue. We've got an understeering engine glitch somehow. And they didn't change our front wing. And now, to top it all off, we got a gearbox issue. And we're out of the Belgian Grand Prix. So, yeah. What a disastrous race that was. Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc, unsurprisingly, wins the Grand Prix once again. Sergio Perez in 2nd, Hamilton 3rd, Ricciardo 4th, Bottas in 5th, Russell 6th, Alonso 7th, Gasly in 8th, Verstappen 9th, and Lando Norris managed to climb his way back up to P10. But look at this, Bottas, Alonso, Gasly and Verstappen apparently didn't do a pit stop. So somehow they ended up not getting disqualified despite the fact they didn't do a pit stop. So yeah, I don't really understand what happened there. That race was a disaster. So many glitches. Engineering understeer glitch. Front wing damage but not being changed glitch. And then to top it all off, we had drivers not doing a pit stop. But anyway, we're going to go straight to Zandvoort. And we're going straight into qualifying. And, well, qualifying was a disaster. Qualifying was a disaster. In the first lap, we got stuck on the curb, and then in the second lap, we just understeered off. Yeah, for some reason at Zandvoort in qualifying, we just had chronic understeer. And so we were at the back of the grid, so I thought, you know what? We're going to take a new power unit. So, we're going to take a brand new, fresh power unit, guys. I'm sorry this race has been a disaster, but hopefully this goes better.
For years, the passionate Dutch fans have been easy to find trackside in races across Europe. Here this weekend, it's even easier to find the Dutch fans as they have a race to call their own once again. A warm welcome to all of our viewers in the Netherlands and around the globe, of course, as we get underway for the Dutch Grand Prix. Zandvoort circuit has 14 corners, 10 to the right and 4 to the left, with plenty of steep camber and elevation changes to keep our drivers on their toes throughout the 2.6-mile lap. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Perez, Daniel Ricciardo, and Fernando Alonso, Bottas, Ocon, Gasly, and Carlos Sainz, Hamilton, Vettel, Max Verstappen, and Joe. Mick Schumacher, Magnussen, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Théo Pourchaire and Alex Albon, they've taken a grid penalty. Tsunoda, Latifi, Stroll and Bennett. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
So once again, everyone's taking grid penalties, and I probably shouldn't have taken a new power unit. But yeah, I took a new power unit, and yep, that's what we're going to do. So it's lights out and away we go. And look at this, a lot of drivers here are starting this Grand Prix on the soft tyres, which, yeah, that was a bit of a surprise to me. That so many people opted for the soft tyres. You'll see a bit later on just how many people are on softs, because a lot of people do come in pretty early. And you can see I was going around the left-hander here. I was going to go right around the outside of Lance Stroll, and I would have probably made it stick. However, Nicholas Latifi locked up, and it kind of spooked me a little bit when Latifi locked up, and it pushed me a little bit wide. So yeah, getting spooked by the Latifi, who's probably counting down towards the end of his F1 career. And you can see it now. We go into this right-hander, and Yuki Tsunoda made a mistake. And that held up Lance Stroll, and that allowed me to go down the inside past Yuki Tsunoda and past Lance Stroll as well. So we're up now to P20. Thank you, base Tsunoda, making that mistake, opening the door for us. And yeah, you can see here, a lot of people are on soft, so we're going to go right around the outside of Nicholas Latifi. Can we make it stick? Around the outside, it turns to the inside now for the right-hander here. And yes, through past Nicholas Latifi, we go up to P19. A bold, brave, and beautiful move there to get past Nicholas Latifi. And now with the ERS and the slipstream, we're going to go down the inside on our teammate, Théo Pourchaire. Can we make it stick? Yes, we can. Through past Théo Pourchaire we go. And that is us up to P18. As Zhou Guanyu's looking for a move past Alex Albon ahead. Can he make it stick? Or is Albon going to be able to hold it around the outside? It turns to the inside. And yeah, it does look like Alex Albon is able to hold off Zhou Guanyu here. He's going to have the inside line for the right-hander. And yes, he did manage to hold up Alex Albon, because we go now to the end of lap number 2. And Albon is still ahead of Zhou Guanyu. And you can see here now, we are in the slipstream of Mick Schumacher, as that is a car coming into the pits. That's Sebastian Vettel. Vettel's in the pits. Oh, we're going to look for a move down the inside of Mick Schumacher. Can we make it stick into turn 1? Yes, we can. Through past Mick Schumacher. And that is us up to P16. Vettel coming in incredibly early. I believe that was because of front wing damage. I don't think that was in the strategy for Sebastian Vettel. But he came in, and you can see it there. We made a mistake. We ran wide. And Mick Schumacher there, he looked for a move back down the inside, but he couldn't make it stick. And so, on lap 8 now, we're going to look at a move down the inside on Zhou Guanyu for P15. We go for it down the inside, but we go way too deep. What a move that was. I don't know what I was expecting there. Yeah, Zhou Guanyu able to come straight back past us as we lock up and go straight on at turn 1. Zhou Guanyu retakes the position, so we're still in P16. Bit of a dive bomb there. I don't really know what I was expecting, but I went for a move. What was the worst that could happen? Clearly it backfired. You can see we go to lap number 10 now, and this is what I was saying. A lot of people started this race on soft compound tyres, and you can see it, we've actually gone from P16 all the way up to P10. So that's 6 cars we've got them by there. So a lot of drivers coming into the pits because they started the race on the soft compound tyres and now had to switch to the hard tyres. And let's see if we can work out for them as we go to lap number 16. And now into the pits we go to go from the medium tyres to the hard compound tyres. So this race so far has been a hell of a lot better than Belgium was. And I just want to say, guys, if you are enjoying this video, please do drop a like and a comment, and if you haven't already, of course, subscribe to the channel for more F1 content. I just want to say a huge thank you for the feedback for the ranking the top 5 drivers video, because that has done absolute bits. That has done absolutely fantastically. I did not expect that video to do as well as it had, but gotta say the feedback has been epic, and I just want to say a huge thank you, guys, because I have now crossed over 100 subscribers. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but I am only a small YouTuber. So for me as a small YouTuber, crossing over 100 subscribers is absolutely epic. So thank you guys so much for that. And with that, let's get back to the race. And you can see here we are now getting past Mick Schumacher. Schumacher's making his stop And so we're now past Mick Schumacher on lap 18. But look at this, we are behind Kevin Magnussen. So Magnussen has gone back past us. So Magnussen was behind us before the pits, but he's now ahead of us. So he's managed to extract the undercut to perfection. Of course, he did start on those soft compound tyres, so that's going to be helping him out with the undercut, of course. So he did have 6 laps on these hard compound tyres. But look at this. We're actually closing back up to Kevin Magnussen, and not only are we closing up to Magnussen, we're closing back to Zhou Guanyu and Alexander Albon as well. So we're going to see if we can do something here in the second half of this Grand Prix. And you can see it now, we're in a situation where we're going to get the DRS on Kevin Magnussen. So with the DRS and the slipstream and the ERS setup, can we do anything about Kevin Magnussen? As there's Lewis Hamilton just in front of us retiring, so that's a free position. That's going to put us up to P15. But no, we're a little bit too far back on Kevin Magnussen to be able to do anything to potentially get ourselves up to P14. As you see there, we go up to P15 now with Lewis Hamilton's retirement. But we can't do anything. We are a little bit too far back. But we're going to try again now because we are a little bit closer. So we've got the slipstream, we've got the ERS and the DRS, and we're getting closer and closer. And we're going to go for a move down the inside of Kevin Magnussen. Can we make it stick? Now we run a little bit too deep. We do what we did earlier with Zhou Guanyu, where we ran way too deep into turn 1, and that allowed Kevin Magnussen to just get back past us. But you can see here now, we are all over the back of Kevin Magnussen and also Alex Albon. So I think what's happening here is Alex Albon and Kevin Magnussen, they started on the soft tyres and then went to the hard tyres. And what I think is happening for these guys is their hard compound tyres, they're 6 laps older than our hard tyres. And I think they're struggling. They're starting to struggle for grip. They went onto the hards a little bit too early, and they still had too much fuel in the back of the car. And what that has meant is they've used the tyres a lot harder than what we have on these hard tyres. So they're struggling. And look at this, we are now all over the back of Kevin Magnussen, and Zhou Guanyu is all over the back of Alex Albon. So we're going to see now these people who opted for the hards a little bit early starting to struggle. And look at this, Magnussen got a horrible exit there from the right-hander. He saw the oversteer, he's gone defensive. We're going to have to go around the outside. Can we make it stick? All the way around the outside of Kevin Magnussen. Through we go, up to P14. Magnussen is really struggling on those hard tyres now, and that is us past Kevin Magnussen, but Magnussen's having none of it. Magnussen, he makes contact with us. He went for a silly move down the inside. He dove back down the inside, and Magnussen has broken his front wing. And then Schumacher, he went for a move as well, and Schumacher's broken his front wing as well. And yeah, disaster for Haas. Absolute disaster. Magnussen dove down the inside, went for a silly move, broke his front wing, and then on the exit of the corner, Schumacher also went for a silly move, and he broke his front wing. And yeah, that wasn't my fault. I really don't think that was my fault there. Magnussen went for a silly dive bomb and has broken his front wing. And so I thought, do you know what? Screw you. You cost me several seconds there by going for a silly move. So I'm going to dive down the inside of you, because the 2 Haas guys now have got a broken front wing, so they're going to be in the pits. So yeah, they've thrown away this Grand Prix by going for a silly move there by Kevin Magnussen, and it's cost both the Haas drivers, not just Kevin Magnussen. As we go now to the end of lap 31, we've managed to close that gap back up to Zhou Guanyu and Alex Albon. So yeah, Alex Albon, as I was saying, really struggling, as my voice cracked a little bit there. Alex Albon really struggling on these hard tyres. He did start on the soft compound tyres, as I said, so yeah, I think those softs have just run out. Those hard tyres have just run out of grip because he had to pit so early, and he's coming under threat here from Zhou Guanyu. And Zhou Guanyu looked for a move down the inside, but that's compromised his exit. And in compromising his exit, that has brought me right up now to the back of Zhou Guanyu. And here we go, slipstream, ERS and DRS. And we're going to go for a move down the inside. No, we're not. Zhou Guanyu blocks firmly the inside. So with him firmly blocking the inside, we go right around the outside of Zhou Guanyu, and that is us up to P11. What a move there, setting Zhou Guanyu up absolutely perfectly. We set him up and played him like an absolute fiddle as we go right around the outside of Zhou Guanyu. He went to the inside, he pinched himself at the apex on the inside, and we were able to just run right around the outside. And thankfully Zhou Guanyu did not do what Kevin Magnussen did, and he didn't go for a silly dive back down the inside to try and get back past us. So Zhou Guanyu has managed to save his front wing for another day. But you can see here we are now, we're all over the back of Albon, and look at Albon. Albon there was squirming at the exit, so Albon really struggling with these hard compound tyres. As I said before, his hard compound tyres are 6 laps older than our hard compound tyres, so yeah, he is really struggling on these hards. You can see that he squirms a little bit on the exits again as well, and that gives us the perfect run with Slipstream, DRS and the ERS, and we're closing him in, and we're going to go down the inside on Alex Albon. Can we make it stay down the inside? Yes, we can. It's a beautiful move, and that is us up now to P11 for the Dutch Grand Prix. Smash a like button if you've enjoyed this race so far, because we've seen some beautiful overtakes here by myself, and also we saw a couple of good overtakes by the AI earlier on in the race as well. But it's P11 here at the Dutch Grand Prix, and Lando Norris wins the Grand Prix.
And a magnificent victory here at the Dutch Grand Prix. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
And look at that, they're making their way out onto the podium now. Great race from the McLaren team, and I'm very happy to see them there on that top step of the podium.
So, the Orange Army, they came, they saw an orange win. It just probably wasn't the orange win that they were expecting. They were probably expecting Max Verstappen, but they got Lando Norris for McLaren, and it's so good to see the McLaren boys on the top step of the podium. I would love to see that at some point into the 2022 season. Smash the like button if you enjoyed that race, and of course and also for McLaren as well, as I had a little bit of a brain fade there. So Lando Norris wins the Dutch Grand Prix from Charles Leclerc in second, George Russell third, Sergio Perez fourth, Ricciardo in fifth, Sainz sixth, Alonso seventh, Verstappen down in eighth, Ocon ninth, and Pierre Gasly rounds out the top 10, and we finish a brilliant P11 for Pulse Motorsports. Two drivers did not finish the Dutch Grand Prix, and that was Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton, as we know. So, as we go to the driver standings, look at that. Charles Leclerc, 108 points, clear of Max Verstappen at the top of the Drivers' Championship, with George Russell up to third, and we're in P12 in the Drivers' Championship, with Pulse Motorsports in P9 in the Constructors. So we've just got some news post-race that Valtteri Bottas is retiring from Formula 1 at the end of the season. That's a shame to see. Don't want to see Valtteri go, but it is the end of an era for Valtteri Bottas in Formula 1. So, I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and if you did, of course, as always, just comment, leave a like, and if you haven't already, of course, subscribe to the channel for more fun content. Thank you all so much for watching, guys. Bye.